Hey, how's it going, everybody? So earlier I was out in the garden and just doing some cleanup, decided to go ahead and cut back some of last year's growth on this lemongrass plant. The leaves are dead and brown, but the base of the plant is still very much alive, so this plant has no problem surviving as a perennial here in Zone 9B. It survived several bouts of freezing temperatures here throughout the winter months, so I felt like now was as good of a time as any to go ahead and clean it up and get it prepared and ready to send out its new shoots this upcoming spring. You can see all the greenery there towards the base of the plant. These will all send out new shoots. And here's what the plant looked like back in December last year. Fully mature, we had been harvesting off of it for several months, and this entire plant was grown from just one lemongrass stalk that we had purchased over at the Asian market. It hardly looked alive. And here's Alice going about a harvest. This is absolutely one of her favorite plants. She makes lemongrass tea 2 to 3 times a week. I was just giving her a hand pulling it out. It can be a little tough to get out of the ground. But this is truly a great plant to grow. Makes a wonderful ornamental in the garden. And if you're into healthy living, you can make teas out of this, soups. Alice's favorite recipe is tea. And we uploaded a video showing how she goes about doing that over on our other channel. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link below this video in the description box. And we appreciate this plant so much that we actually were growing 2 other plants in the landscape last year. If you look closely towards the middle of the garden here, you can see a rather large lemongrass growing. I ended up removing that just using a digging fork, and so took it out by the roots, carried it up to the back of the house. And here's what's left of it. I didn't quite know what I was going to be doing with it at the time. I thought maybe I'd divide it up and make some new plant starts, but Alice started harvesting from it. And for the first couple weeks I thought nothing of it, but as a couple months went by, I was surprised at the resiliency of the plant. It remained fresh out of the ground, not in water or anything, and she'd just come out 2 to 3 times a week, harvest some of these stalks and make her tea. So after she brews her tea up, she just pours it into a half-gallon mason jar, puts it in the fridge, and it usually lasts her a couple days. And she doesn't much mind any of those small pieces getting into the tea. It'll sink to the bottom of the jar, and she says it just adds to the flavor. But while she's preparing her lemongrass tea, she'll often cut off the bottoms of those stalks, and by just putting those in just a little bit of water, you can just use a plastic cup. These take root really easily. And you can see she's got another little batch going right here. So extremely easy to grow. After just growing this plant over one season, you could easily propagate it over and over again dozens of times. And actually, I really like the way those young shoots look on display. You could easily put these in a vase on a centerpiece on the table and no one would think anything of it. These aren't receiving any supplemental light, they haven't been in a window, and still look very healthy. Well, that's going to do it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com, wishing you all a great rest of your day. I'll be talking to you again soon. Take care.